Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel, or if you are new here, hi, hello, my name is Miguel, but some people call me Milo. And today we are going to be doing more creepy TikToks that someone sent me. Let me try to see if I could find their... Oh no, they wish to stay anonymous. Okay. So, I don't know how many we have. I just kind of liked them and then went on with my day. So, if I do not know how many there actually is, I'm really sorry. And if you guys hear my heater, I'm really sorry. It is freezing in this house right now because it just got done raining. And if you guys hear the trash truck, I'm also really sorry for that. But yeah, so these are creepy TikToks. And again, if you guys want to send me TikToks, here's my TikTok at Sparrow40. You guys can send me them and I will try to get to them and probably post it. So yeah, let's get on with these videos. So let's sit back, relax, and watch some of these creepy TikToks.
Duendes. In Mexican folklore, duendes are gnome-like creatures that are sometimes mischievous, sometimes protective, and sometimes evil. The word duende is Spanish for goblin.
Sounds like my sister.
Most creatures are described as small, like a child, but with an old man's face. Some can disappear at will, and some will camouflage into a full-sized old man. It is said if an old man asks you for food or a little money, it could be a duende. If you don't pay the ask, there will be chaos. Maybe your crops won't grow or your car will break down. Mostly they're causing mischief, but there can be danger. The duende seem to be attached to certain natural areas, but can be coaxed to leave with proper gifts and respect. Duendes do have a particular affinity for children though. Unlike other folklore stories that are often used to scare or frighten away children, duendes were seen as protectors. If a child was ever afraid or lost, children were encouraged to call out to duendes for guidance. Although they could be both mischievous and kind towards adults with the flip of a switch, it seems they were always kind towards children. Duendes.
I have not heard them. I'm not like Mexican like that. Like, I'm Mexican, but I have not grown up with like the folklore stuff. I've heard of La Llorona, and that's pretty much it. I grew up on skinwalkers, wendigos, and people. Also, I did not realize that he is wearing a Jason mask.
What is the scariest urban legend from your state? Today we're talking about Texas. I have to admit this is the creepiest one I've come across so far. From 1903 to 1913, 8 kids went missing in Terrell, Texas, and I probably said that wrong. These kids would go missing in the middle of the night with seemingly no evidence left behind, and the adults in the town didn't understand what was happening until the children would come forward years later telling them exactly what happened. These kids said that sometimes they would wake up in the middle of the night and there would be little candies on the windowsill with a note in them saying, "Can you come out to play?" And it was signed by the candy lady. The kids in town didn't say anything to the adults because they were afraid that the candy would stop showing up. To make things even stranger, while investigating these disappearances, a farmer once happened upon a candy wrapper in his field, and when he opened this candy wrapper, there was rotting children's teeth inside the wrapper. A few weeks after these teeth were found, the officer that was investigating the disappearances, he was also found not alive anymore. Both of his eyes had been stabbed with forks, and his pockets were full of candy. And this is how the urban legend of the Candy Lady started. So who exactly is the Candy Lady? Many people assume that the Candy Lady is actually Clara Crane. Clara was married to an older man, and they had one child together named Marcella, who they called Marcy. Unfortunately, Marcella would pass away in a farming accident, and this left Clara absolutely devastated, and she blamed her husband for this accident for years. Allegedly, she decided that she was going to get revenge on her husband, and the way she did this is she poisoned little caramel candies and fed them to her husband. After he passed away, she was charged with his murder. She was found guilty, but instead of sending her to prison, they sent her to a mental health facility. In this mental health facility, the doctors noted that she had shredded all of her bed sheets and turned them into a doll that she named Marcy, and she would frequently talk to this doll. She also sent letters to her sister talking about how she was going to get out of this mental institution soon. And in 1999,
So
she was
basically,
released
this
due
lady
to
is just
overcrowding.
crazy.
So now, many people think that Clara was kidnapping these children to replace her own daughter, who she tragically lost. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that Clara is the Candy Lady, and is there any truth in this urban legend? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and follow for more creepy things.
I don't know about that. She does seem like she is a little crazy. People always say that grief makes you do crazy things. I have lost a lot of people, so I am not crazy. At least I don't think. But I mean, if she's already found guilty of killing her husband and blaming him for just an accident, she seems a little crazy. And I bet if that was a man that they found guilty, they would not have given them a second chance. So yes, I do think she is guilty. And I know women are usually more into the whole kidnapping and sex trafficking and all that stuff. So there probably is a lot of truth to this urban legend, actually.
This is maybe the scariest
what the
urban
fuck is
legend I've
that?
ever heard, and it ended up being true. Back in the 1970s, there was this terrifying fun house in Long Beach, California called The Laugh in the Dark. And there was
course
always
it's
this urban
in
legend that all the
California.
mannequins inside were fake, except for one. Also, mind you, this is what this week's episode is about, so if you don't want spoilers, just listen to the episode. This urban legend came to be because there was one mannequin inside that just looked wrong. All of the other ones looked fake, but this one in particular looked way too human. And a bunch of the kids also said the area that the mannequin was in just smelled really, really bad. So a few years
is it
go
a
by,
dead
and
body?
one day a film crew comes in and is using Laugh in the Dark for a film set. The director's lining up a shot, and he just doesn't like the way this one mannequin looks in frame. So he goes over to a crew member and he's like, hey, can you just move this out of the shot? So the crew member goes over and starts moving the mannequin when its arm pops off. And inside of the mannequin's arm is human bone. The kids had been totally right. The mannequin was a mummified body. There's so much more to this story, like who the person was and how they got there, and I talk about the whole thing this week on the episode. This is
Well, you guys go check her out, because I'm too lazy to go do that. That sounds like Five Nights at Freddy's. That's what it sounds like, but that's nasty. That's why I don't like those little animatronics and like puppet things.
If you still use one of these things, you might want to take caution. In the mid-80s, 17-year-old Jason Finley was found deceased in his bedroom with zero evidence as to what happened. Jason was in good health, and there was no evidence in his room that would suggest there was any kind of foul play that night. It wasn't until an autopsy revealed blood in Jason's inner ear, which points to an electrical surge of some kind. And that's when the pieces of this puzzle finally started to come together. Jason happened to be on the phone while there was a bad thunderstorm that night. And all it took was for his house to be struck by lightning and that electricity to travel through his telephone wires.
Oh, I didn't want to do that.
The girl that Jason was on the phone with also admitted to hearing a weird clicking noise, a gasp from Jason, and then silence. Which that
See, why did you have to pick the most gayest looking picture for that?
kind of makes sense. When I was a teenager, I remember thinking that this was a complete myth, but
It's not.
It actually has happened and claimed several lives. But thankfully, that risk has greatly reduced due to less and less people using these kinds of phones.
Yeah.
Unless you're a cell phone user that decides to use your phone while it's charging during a power surge. If you still
Never do that because my phone hardly ever charges. I've heard of that, and that's just because my whole body is covered in metal and plastic. I have, as you can see, an arm brace. I have leg braces. So I've heard that, I know it's true, and I definitely know that phones are like that. That's why I hate when the kids play with their phones while they're charging. But mine goes down to 1%, and then I'll charge it.
Have you ever heard of the Korean urban legend of the haircutting ghost? The Korean urban legend of the haircutting ghost is a spooky tale that revolves around the ghostly entity believed to sneak into people's homes at night and cut off locks of their hair while they sleep. The legend adds a hair-raising element to the realm of supernatural encounters. According to the legend, the haircutting ghost is often depicted as a female ghost or spirit. It is said to have a strong attraction to human hair and seeks to obtain it for its own mysterious purposes. The ghost is believed to enter homes silently during the night, targeting sleeping individuals. Victims of the haircutting ghost may wake up to find their hair mysteriously shortened or even completely cut off. Some versions of the legend suggest that the ghost feeds on the life force contained within the hair it collects, while others propose that the stolen hair is used in dark rituals or to create cursed objects. Encounters with the haircutting ghost can be particularly distressing, as it operates within the supposed safety of one's own home. The act of having one's hair cut without any rational explanation invokes a sense of violation and fear. The legend of the haircutting ghost is often used as a cautionary tale to discourage people from leaving their hair exposed while they sleep, or to create a sense of unease regarding vulnerability of one's personal space. Have you ever heard of the...
Why is it always the, like, Asian ones that just love hair? And there's so many of these that I realized are about hair, and they're always Asian ones. Why are the Asian ones so freaking scary? Who knows?
For your sake, I hope you are not alone and it's not dark where you are, because...
Okay. It's not dark. My sister's in the other room. She would leave me if something happened, though.
I'm going to tell you some urban legends that will probably make you piss yourself.
Unless
Now,
it's
this
Japanese
first one
ones, it's not.
actually fucking terrifies me, and I'm actually getting ready to leave for work, and I'm home alone. My roommate is out of town now, so walking
Perfect
outside
time to
is
do
gonna
a
be a bit
video.
of a challenge. But without further ado, let's talk about the black-eyed kids. Now,
I've
their
heard
origins are pretty much a huge mystery. The first sightings were published around the late 90s. This is when people started reporting seeing them in like rural areas or even on highways, and they appear originally as lost children. So common encounters with them include they will, as I said previously, they appear as lost children, and they will typically ask you something along the lines of, hey, I'm lost, like, can I use your phone? Like, they'll knock at your door or at your car asking for a ride, saying that they're stranded, something along those lines. Now, if you don't respond or don't let them in, they will start to get more and more vicious each time. They'll just keep on trying, like, let me in. They'll just grow increasingly agitated with you. Now, they typically come at night. They'll knock on doors. They'll knock on your window. All sorts of shit. And one thing that people have tended to, like, notice with these children is how their skin tone, it's pretty pale, in contrast to like average people, of course, and of course their black eyes. Like, there's no white in their eyes, it's just completely black. Now, no one has ever lived to tell the tale if they end up letting these children in. It's reported that they are either cryptids or some type of alien human hybrid, but as I said before, their origins are pretty much unknown. Now, this next one is a certified hood classic. It's Bloody Mary. If you don't know what that is, then I don't know what to tell
I know
you.
what it is.
But this is a huge part of my childhood back in elementary school, and it actually triggered my fear of mirrors. I hate mirrors. I will try and cover them as much as possible. I try not to have them in my room, and so on. Like, they actually terrify me.
I have no mirrors.
And I remember in elementary school, a couple girls thought it was funny to lock us in the bathroom, turn off the lights, and start chanting her name. And that just push my phobia even more. But let's get into the backstory. So this was actually a divination ritual in like historic times, basically. So a woman would walk backwards up a flight of stairs with a candle lit, and when she would look into the mirror, she would be able to see her future husband's face. And sometimes she would see a skull, kind of symbolizing the Grim Reaper, basically meaning she would die before she would be able to get married. And then eventually Bloody Mary came about. On elementary school, what I was told was that you just had to chant her name 3 times in a dark room in front of a mirror, and then she would appear and kill you.
but allegedly you have to chant her name 13 times with a candle, and this will cause an apparition to appear. She'll either be nice or demonic, either one. And if you want to test it out, be my guest. Now, this next urban legend is a bit lighter. It's the story of Herobrine. This is for all my gamers out there who grew up on Minecraft, because I remember looking up YouTube videos summoning Herobrine, and I would try and do the same thing on my little iPad at the time back in like the early 2010s. Sorry, my eyes are like watering. And it was just such a huge like phenomenon at the time. Like, you just had to be there. So Herobrine was allegedly Notch's dead brother, and he would haunt single-player worlds. Now, what makes this so creepy is if you've ever played Minecraft alone, it can be creepy. Like, you're just in this vast world. Sometimes the ambient music, especially when you're in the cave systems, it can be actually terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. So it's no wonder why this used to scare us so much. Now, the first sighting of Herobrine was actually reported by a 4chan user, and one key thing that players would notice if Herobrine was in their world was trees would be like, how do I explain it? They would be like missing in a sense, like parts of trees would be missing as if someone was already there. I don't know if you know this, but if you've ever played Minecraft, when you cut down trees and stuff, it's pretty apparent. The blocks don't really grow back, or at the time they didn't grow back. So this was like a key thing, and the player spotted Herobrine in the fog, like in the distance, and Herobrine typed out stop and then vanished as quickly, almost as quickly as the player saw him. And this kind of sparked, you know, the ongoing Herobrine theory. And then came the rituals and YouTube videos to summon him in your game. I'm like low-key scared to go outside now, because after I'm done with this, I'm like heading out to go into work. And I'm just like, my car is like right in the driveway, but I'm just like, I'm still fucking like terrified to walk out. And I need to pee as well, and now I'm scared to pee. Like, now you guys can see how much of a scaredy cat I really am when I'm alone. And I'm like...
Okay, so you guys can go over to her thing. She was just basically talking about urban legends and stuff. And yeah, I think for one of the... I believe it was one of the Black-Eyed Children stories. The lady actually did survive to tell the tale, obviously. It probably wasn't real, but it was basically like her husband ended up getting a really bad headache, and then he ended up having a nosebleed when she let the kids inside, and the kids just vanished. And there's just like so much stuff that was going on in her house. I'm not saying the other one, but the one with the mirror I have heard about. My sisters have wanted to try it, and I'm just like, nope, not while I'm living here. No, never doing that again. I hate mirrors already, not just from that urban legend, but I just hate mirrors. Like, I don't know why. Okay, so that was all of the TikToks. Yeah. Comment down below other videos that you guys like to see. Maybe if you guys want, we will go into like a whole YouTube video just dedicated to the snarled videos. I loved when they had shit. I'm not good with names, as you could see. I could barely remember the freaking channel name. I like when they had the one girl on there and she would just say, want to hear something scary. That was really... I really like that. I love that channel so much. So if you guys want to, you can comment down below. We will do a whole video dedicated to that channel because I love it. And yeah, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day.